So, you like the other few clicked on this video because you're struggling and want to get better at art. Now, I myself am not a pro artist, not even close to the others that are out there, but despite that, I've found a method that I think even good artists can use to improve faster. And if you don't believe me, what if I told you that this method actually allowed me to double how fast I could draw more accurate sketches? And no, this is not an exaggeration. This took me 30 minutes to do, whereas before, this would have taken over an hour, maybe even an hour and a half. And you might be wondering what that method is. And before I get to that, I have a question for you. As an artist, you're familiar with the box method, or the egg method, or the beanbag method, right? Now, the reason why this works for a lot of artists is because they can actually imagine these objects in real life, and they're very commonly found. Look around you. Chances are that there's at least one box in your room, and if you look at your pillow, that kind of looks like a beanbag shape. You can imagine that pretty easily. It can bend, twist, and also imagining an egg isn't very hard. It's just an egg, basically just a circle. So why is it that people struggle with drawing this then? And that's because you can't visualize it in your mind. That's where this method comes in. When I was learning to draw clothing folds, I was struggling because it would look really wrong. I thought I was doing everything right, so theoretically it should all look good considering I studied all the folding types, right? Wrong. I was just drawing random lines wherever I thought it would make it look like wrinkles, and because of that, I got really messy results. But finally, the point of this video, how did I change that? And the answer is changing the name of the method. You might be thinking, well, that doesn't make much sense. Changing the name of the method doesn't make it any different. Take a look at this. This is called a diaper fold. Does this remind you of a diaper? No. So what if you called it something like a blanket fold? You can imagine holding up a blanket from 2 points and then in the middle it droops down, right? And what about the zigzag fold? I actually couldn't visualize this one for a while. I struggled a lot, and no matter how hard I tried, it didn't seem to work until I thought what it kind of looked like X, Y, and Z. So I called it the XYZ fold, and would you look at that? It looks way better now. So the reason why this method works is because subconsciously, when you try to learn a new technique in art, people tend to learn something, and instead of modifying it to show their understanding, they end up duplicating what they saw. And while this works for a while, it'll really start to show when you're trying to do more complex pieces. And this renaming technique is more helpful than you may think, because if you can relate the very difficult things you struggle to draw with objects or something that you can commonly see, you can almost draw anything with way more ease. And because of this method, my practice suddenly stopped feeling so pointless and started to feel more fruitful, like I was making real progress after being deadlocked in the same spot for so long. So if you yourself are struggling with art, I hope this video helps, and if it did, comment down below. I read all my comments as views I get. They're much appreciated, even if it's just to say that you watched the video or you enjoyed. That's all for today. Hope you did enjoy. Be sure to like and subscribe. And as usual, love you and have an amazing day.